Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Welcome back, everybody, to Good Morning Let's Basketball. We're back on Zoom. The Summer League has concluded, and the Miami Heat are the champions of the Summer League. And today we're going to be talking about how we thought Summer League went and some stuff we saw. What did you guys get from Summer League from watching it?
I remember like a predetermination that I had, which came out horribly incorrect. When the draft was going on, when Reed Shepard went third, I remember texting in the chat, like, is this guy really third? Like, I'm not saying, like, I wasn't trying to say he was bad, but like, yo, third over some of these other cats. But yo, he was playing so good in Summer League. Like, he definitely looks like he's ready. He was scoring very well. He was shooting threes from the logo. We knew he was a great shooter, but I didn't know he had that range like that already. So that was really surprising. Was also distributing pretty well. And he can sit in the chair sometimes and play some defense. So I got my eye on this kid. I'm very excited to see him play, especially with this Rockets team. Hopefully he can get the minutes out there because I know they're trying to make some improvements and they got some good guard play, but I think he could definitely get out there and make a difference for them.
No, yeah, I 100% agree with Reed Shepard. From what I've seen, I've watched one of his Summer League games. Went really well, had great performance. Wasn't too invested in the Summer League, to be transparent, but one thing I will say, Alex Sarr, soft? Is he soft? Is he a Pop-Tart for real?
Dude, 0 for 15. Like, okay, Summer League struggles, whatever. It's literally Summer League. Who cares? But yo, 0 for 15 is like historically freaking bad.
I think
That's
the stat
bad,
was
bro.
he made like one of his last 21 shots or like something.
In 2 games. It was something like that.
Like, no matter what time of year it is, bro, that's bad. There's some red flags.
I think ESPN made a stat after that of like the games where there's like all cardio or whatever after that, like after he did that.
I saw that.
The ultimate disrespect.
Yeah, I was shocked like seeing that. But one thing I wanted to like point out is I remember Wemby in his Summer League debut, he didn't do too hot, so we could see him improve once the season starts, just getting his feet wet. He's coming from international.
I don't know, bro. He didn't do this bad.
Is it a product? Is it a product of being on the Wizards, or is it a product of Alex Sarr?
I mean, if it was during the regular season, I feel like we could say that, but it's not like bro was out there running with like the A team with the actual Wizards.
True.
It was him and a bunch of Reed Shepards.
Honestly, not even. Not even.
Yeah, that's stretching it. I'll push it to Tommy Kuzi. If you guys know who that is. St. Mary's legend.
St. Mary's. That's the bald dude, right? That was on the Lakers. Yep. I remember watching him hoop in college. That's so funny you brought him up.
It's because he freaking dog walked IU that one year. That one year we made it to the tournament. Bro, I was like, oh, St. Mary's, they can beat him. Nah, bro. This dude was nice in college. If you guys can, I suggest you look up Tommy Kuzi, like March Madness.
No, he went crazy.
He went insane. Yeah. But one duo, I don't really know if they're a duo that I was really surprised by that played pretty well was Terrence Shannon Jr. out of Illinois and Rob Dillingham from Minnesota. So Rob, he's kind of confusing because I feel like he might fill that point guard role or maybe play shooting guard once Mike Conley retires. Because Rob, a lot of people are saying that this guy's the best scorer in the draft. At the beginning of the season, this dude was a top 3 pick. Everyone thought it was for sure. Obviously, over the course of the year and throughout the whole college season, that changes. People were saying that back in November. But dude is a raw scorer. Like, he can score the ball and go get a bucket at any time. Perfect for the NBA. So I think he's really going to fill that guard role, that starting guard role for the Minnesota Timberwolves in the future very well. And him and Ant could be a great duo in the future.
Rob Dillingham, I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I was surprised at how late he went. I always thought he would be drafted in Reed Shepard's spot. But, I mean, he didn't go late, but, like, later than I thought he would. But, But yeah, I think he's going to step into that role perfectly as well. I think watching him in college, the games I caught, I think he was like NBA ready from the start. So one thing I didn't know, Reed Shepherd came off the bench. Was that that wasn't for the full season. There's no way. How long did he come off the bench for in college? Kevin, I'm asking you because you're the guy who I assume might know that.
He came off the bench in college.
Yeah, I found that out today. I don't know like for how long. It could be just for like the first few games, but like there was a point where he came off the
Yeah.
bench.
If it was early on in the season, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't give you a good timetable. I'm being honest. Like I really couldn't. I have no idea. I don't know that.
He only started 5 games last season.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, he mostly came off the bench. It's that
That's
Devin Booker
nuts.
effect. D
That's
Book came off the bench
crazy.
in Kentucky too, but he also played on that team that drafted like 8 NBA players. So that's not really like too crazy to say. Still a lottery pick coming off the bench, which is insane.
Did you
Yeah,
guys see did you guys catch the Bub Carrington hype? The real star of the Wizards this summer league? I've heard only good things about that guy.
yeah, I saw a lot of stuff about that.
16 points, 7.4 rebounds, 5 assists. It's pretty solid, bro. Pretty solid for where he went in the draft.
The Miami Heat did well with Khalil Ware, and then I know Kevin was talking about like we were both wondering why Jaime Jaquez is playing, but ended up having them win. And I think this is the first year the summer league teams are getting their own ring. I don't know if you guys saw the ring. It's actually kind of dope.
I did see the ring. They got it like right after the game. Who knows if they even fit? They just get them, chill in the box.
Yeah, they're fake
One size
diamonds.
fits all.
Dude, honestly, yeah, they probably just got like a ring. Like, all right, go get it fitted. If not, it's on it. It's a summer league ring.
Not trying to hate. I think that's stupid, bro. Like what?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't.
Like
Any excuse to give LeBron more titles, or in this case, Bronny, but it didn't work out.
He's not
Uh,
about
while,
the
we,
heat.
while we were on the subject of Dinkelberg, no, I'm kidding. While we were on the subject of Dillingham, I was just gonna say that, with the Timberwolves, they were a strong team last year, already a team that comes out on the court and kind of plays at a quicker pace. So with a 6-1 firecracker like Rob, it'll be interesting to see how teams can kind of keep up with them.
Did you watch Rob Dillingham this summer league?
I did. I caught a few games.
A few?
More
I mean,
than
you're
one.
right.
A
You're
few
right.
is more than one.
That's good. I agree with your take 100%. Um,
The firecracker was funny.
the firecracker Dinkelberg. Bro's first words on the pod
Bro,
were Dinkelberg.
Rob Dinkelberg, Dillingham, same difference.
I kind of like that. Should we coin that for this pod? Rob Dinkelberg for whenever we discuss him. I kind of mess with that, bro.
I just saw the Dillingham and I was like, that's too long to remember. I'll just call him Dinkelberg.
Just anyone name who starts with the D, we just have to do that. Dinkelberg Brooks.
One thing I wanted to ask you guys was, do you guys think that the 2024 being the worst draft class ever in history was like a overhype, or do you guys think it's like on par with it? Because I think it's a little bit of a over examination of like the draft when we have even seen them like develop into the league yet.
I feel like we see a lot of times that the diamonds in draft classes, no matter what sport it is, are usually somewhere kind of in the mid range. I don't remember exactly what pick Tom Brady is, but that's just the example that comes to mind, right? There's a lot of guys that get drafted late that end up filling a role really well and developing their game on their own, and later on in their career just have phenomenal success because they took the time to get better on their own and kind of understand the game at a different level that is to be understood when you're in the NBA. So I think this was good, honestly, for them.
Was it the why are you smiling all smug like that? Was it the 2000 class that was like the worst class, like the
Yeah,
previous worst class ever?
that's what they were saying is the worst, and then they're saying this is either gonna be the worst or like one below it.
Damn,
I
bro. I mean,
don't
I,
know.
I just looked at the 2000 draft class. Like, I can only recognize like maybe like 10 names. Like, dude, this draft class is horrible. And like the names I recognize are like Mike Miller, Kenyon Martin, like Turkoglu. Like these aren't like great players. It's so weird. It's so early to judge. But there are like obviously Khalil Ware has so much upside. Dillingham, so much upside. Like I even Edie, like I was wrong about Edie. I'll be the first to admit Edie has so much upside. Like we just don't know yet. I definitely will say if you put me on the spot, I would say that this draft class this year is better than the 2000 draft class. I see so much more like because we know how these guys panned out, but I see so much potential in this one still. So like
Yeah, I think this one does have potential too. I mean, obviously, we won't know if it's the worst for a little while now, but that 2014 draft class, I think it was 2014 with like Anthony Bennett and all those guys. That's going to be hard to beat. That's going to be really, really tough to beat.
yeah. I think it's so much is just dependent on the first pick. It's like if the first
Yeah.
pick isn't as good, everyone's like, "Oh, this draft class sucks." But like there's players in the class that like are so good. Like I don't I just disagree that this is the worst one ever. Hard
Yeah, I
disagree.
that's what I think too. Like everybody was like so predominant on the fact, and then there was even memes of people being like, "Oh, this is the first draft class that I look like I could beat them one on one," which is like it's kind of ridiculous to say that. And then I remember listening on a podcast, and there's a guy, he was like a statistician and really loved the NBA too, and he was saying that the NBA has the best predictability for like if a NBA player is going to be well in the draft. So I wonder if like with the like scouts and everything, if that's going to be true for this, because like how good the NBA is at predicting talent.
I guess what I was trying to say like earlier was just that I feel like because so many players are going to go under the radar, they're going to fit in really well and kind of dig in deep and develop good as a player without having this kind of unneeded pressure of being like, oh, this guy's going to be great. So I feel like there's going to be some studs that come out of this draft, especially because, you know, I know we, like I've said it already and we've talked about it, but we really are in the age of dying stars and guys like KD, guys like, I mean, I don't really want to say AD, but LeBron, Steph Curry, all those guys, like I don't want to say they're on their farewell tour, but they're definitely not at their peak of their careers. So I feel like this is a very unique opportunity for younger guys to come into the league and kind of make a name for themselves without having that pressure of being that guy because there's, I feel like there's not a really clear answer as to who's that guy right now in the NBA. For the younger generation at least, like who's the next guy to carry the torch. So just leaves more opportunities for people to be stars, I guess is the way I'd put it.
I'm just wondering who's going to be the Justin Jackson of this draft, bro. Just that mid-ass player who was drafted high and just like never is seen again. Because it could
Probably,
like it's fun because it could be anyone. It could be anyone in this draft. You like literally don't know.
It's funny that we haven't talked about the number one pick at all. Back to what we said in our in-person pod, a number one pick has never gotten so like not so much love. I feel like a lot of people are just anticipating it. It's just because the lack of star power, the lack of the big name, like the lack of this draft having that guy. This draft really didn't have that guy. So I mean, again, we never know. This could be a draft class where we just see like a lot of very solid role players just come out, and you can't be mad at that. You know, they're critical to any team that wants to win a championship. There's going to be some duds, absolutely. What's
Yeah,
a
I was
draft
gonna
class without a few duds?
these players are like the players that are gonna win you chips. So like I feel like even a role player draft in today's current NBA is like so much stronger than some drafts we've seen. Just because of how like
Yeah, wait,
star
can you
power doesn't
elaborate?
win. I'm saying like star power doesn't win championships anymore. Like yes, you need a star to win championships, but that's not ultimately what does it. Like we saw with the Mavericks this year, like they straight up didn't hit shots. they didn't have the role players to hit the shots when Luka and Kyrie play well. Not Kyrie really, but when Luka plays great, like he did all series, like you can't win without those players. And the Celtics assembled the team of all perfectly fitting role players. So like
Are you
it's just
are you
you,
kind of saying that the shift that the focus of like NBA draft for certain teams has shifted and kind of because I kind of I don't know, my interpretation of what you're saying is like I feel like a lot of times teams are just looking for that it guy, right? They're looking for however they're basically looking to have value in every pick that they make, but to the point where they're kind of picking up a lot of guys that are just good and they're kind of banking on them being their new like star player as opposed to drafting guys that fit well and kind of playing off of more of that. I don't know if that's what you mean, but
well, I just mean like in this draft class specifically, like role players are so much more important than they have been in previous NBA eras. So that's why I think this draft is so much more valuable than people are giving it credit for. Because ultimately, it's those role players that make the difference for you. Because every team has 2 to 3 stars on it, but not every team is successful. So I think those role players, just with how much parity there is, how much like talent there is in the league, those guys matter. And then like we've seen, I guess a quick example is like Brandon Miller getting picked before Scoot. That was like a fit move. Like even if Scoot obviously, well, in hindsight he doesn't, but at the time he had so much more potential, but they still went with Brandon Miller because he fit better and was more, even if he's not a role player, but he was more of a role player than Scoot was. So I think that's like a pretty decent example of like what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense.
it does. As one of the hosts of GMLB, otherwise known as Good Morning Let's Basketball, thank you guys all so much for 1,000 subscribers. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you so much for the support.
If you enjoyed the pod, make sure to like and subscribe. And make sure to also rate us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you're listening. And we're going to get back to the pod. The group stages for Team USA and FIBA is underway. And Team USA has had some close games, almost losing to South Sudan by 1. But they ended up winning. Sorry, they ended up winning.
It ended up winning. We almost had a generational fold by Team USA. The line for that game being minus 43.5. Like
We
was
were all
absolutely
rooting.
insane.
We were all rooting for South Sudan, right?
In a
Like
way,
just to
yeah,
see what would
because
happen.
like a month ago when we were talking about it and like I'm gonna say we, which is incorrect. I don't like putting names out there. Like South Sudan was like the only team we talked about. Like, what are they gonna do to South Sudan? But South Sudan almost did that to Team USA, which was outright insane. They played a great game. Honestly, I think they played better, and it looks like they wanted it more. It's just USA, like in the final moments of the game when they were down, who'd they give it to? LeBron, and he did exactly what he should have done, which he should do all the time. And I preach all the time on this podcast because he's LeBron James. Got like the easiest bucket of the whole entire game, and they end up coming out with the win. But I believe South Sudan is actually a pretty young team. Carlick Jones getting a triple double on Team USA in Olympic ball. That's amazing. So we could see a lot of good players coming out of South Sudan, man. They were impressive.
Yeah, I was
JT
gonna
Thor's
say.
there.
Oh yeah, true, true. I always forget about him. Obviously, we got Wenyan Gabriel. That's probably the one we're all most familiar with. Not a lot to say because it is an exhibition game, but Kevin, I like how you brought up that they went to LeBron. Like, obviously, you're going to go to the most skilled player of all time, even if he's 40. Like, I like that he's the captain, and I like that he's the guy you go to. He's been in those big moments. He's been in 10 plus NBA finals. I don't know if it's 10 or 10 plus now, but like that's the guy you're going to go to. So I'm surprised people were surprised that they went with him because I always thought that was like fairly obvious they were going to go to him. But um, yeah. What about? I'm more concerned with Australia than South Sudan for some reason. Why was 35-year-old Patty Mills just hooping against Team USA, bro?
Patty Mills is one of those players. Like when he puts his country's jersey on, he's just like it's like Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
Facts.
Patty Mills is the exact same way. The exact same way. Olympic Patty Mills is up there with like Olympic Melo. But also, Germany gave USA a tough game too the other day.
Germany, I'm okay with though, because they did win like FIBA. Like they are a very talented team and they're basically like all NBA players too. Daniel Tice, add him to that list of players who put on the jersey and they just become like goats.
Yeah. Tice, Schroeder, the Wagners, they all play pretty well.
I'm gonna say what I would think is the obvious and that's just that these games should not be close. Team USA should be kind of, I think, putting a stamp on each one of these games, even if it is an exhibition. And I do personally think that they're on the front door of a loss. I think that they're just sniffing at something to kind of knock them off their horse and say, okay, let's get serious here. Because the truth is that we all know that the USA has probably the strongest basketball team. Even if we're not sending our best, we still have the strongest Olympic or national basketball team right now in the world. And so when you send the Avengers level equivalent of our NBA superstars, we expect, especially with what the call out was, right? This originally started because what was his name? Noah Lyles, I think is his name. The track star said that, you know, NBA champions are champions only of the US and stuff. So it's just to me, when you're keeping games like this close against South Sudan and you win by one, yeah, no, duh. Um, LeBron James should be able to close out those games, but why are they even close in the first place? I mean, you have the greatest shooter of all time, the leading scorer, and a bunch of other guys that are just decorated Hall of Famers. So I personally like I agree with everything you guys say. There are a lot of tough teams out there, but come on, this is supposed to be our version of the best of the best. So I just am a little surprised that we're not taking it a little bit seriously because I do think that's more what it's about of just like taking these games more seriously rather than anything else. But that's
I
just
ag-
me.
I agree with you, Daniel. I do definitely think that they shouldn't be keeping the games this close. I remember watching the South Sudan game and I was getting pissed. Like I was actually genuinely getting pissed at like how they were playing. I remember Embiid trying to throw a behind the back pass that went to the stands. I was like, what the hell is he doing? And then they were just playing a very sloppy when South Sudan was up. It almost felt like a little bit of like an all-star game feel when I was watching it. But the thing that you said with like them like winning and everything, the 1992 Dream Team only faced 9 NBA players in the Olympics, and the 2024 Team USA will play against 61 NBA players.
Game's becoming more global. I think another reason why
Frauds.
it's kind of close is because KD's not playing.
True.
Obviously, we're not taking it serious. It's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, KD's like another one of those. Obviously, it's KD. I'm not going to sit here and explain who KD is, but will he start when he comes back? If he ever?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we already
I
said that. Yeah, I think.
I think so, yeah. Could we take a second to like talk about the lineups? Because like why I'm in the boat that Devin Booker and Joel Embiid should not be starting. I think that should be Anthony Davis for sure starting. Because my man is going. I don't know if you guys have caught all their games, but
Yep.
defensively, bro,
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is protecting that rim like his career depends on it. Bro is getting like
Yeah.
3 blocks a game. Like I think it so easily should be AD right now over Embiid.
I don't know if I've definitively said this ever on the podcast, but I do think that Anthony Davis, while I have my criticisms of him, is a better center than Joel Embiid. And also, I hate Joel Embiid, but I like AD. All right, sorry, I
You
don't like
have
AD
said that.
either. I don't like AD
Well,
either, but I do think AD is a way better choice to start. So I agree with you, Miles. I think that he's a way better choice to start.
I was about to say one of them has to start. Gosh darn. But honestly, I feel like with Olympic play and the international like rules, I feel like AD is the best option because I feel like where the USA might get, I don't want to say dominated, but it's a different game with international rules down low and in the paint. And I feel like AD just plays that game better than Joel Embiid is playing it right now. Like you said,
Mhm.
he's monster. he's been a monster on defense. Like they need that paint presence. Absolutely, especially against like those other teams that have just as many bigs on their team as well. I know a lot of people expected Serbia to give USA some trouble. It's the complete opposite, actually. They blew them out the water, which was pretty surprising to me. But yeah, I don't disagree with what you guys are saying at all. Like, I definitely do think that AD should be in that starting lineup. But as far as Devin Booker, who should replace him? We thinking like Ant?
I'm thinking like KD moves into that lineup and everyone else moves down. Because
Okay,
the
so
current starters are Drew. Drew Holiday starts, right? So it's Drew Booker, or I'm sorry, it's Drew Curry, Booker, LeBron, Joel. That's like what the starters are right now.
okay.
I think Tatum started a game, didn't he? I think they've like switched it up and stuff.
They've been like flirting with the starting lineup a little bit, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Steve Kerr saying it's hard to imagine a starting lineup without Embiid, Curry, and LeBron. So I think Embiid is like a lock for the lineup in the head coach's eyes.
What do they
So
see that we don't? He must
I
just be
mean,
one of those tryhards in practice.
maybe just like spacing on the offensive end, they'll have Embiid out there rather than AD. But I feel like just spacing is just not the issue. Like when AD is playing this good, it's so hard to keep him out the starting lineup. But you know,
Yeah, he's
we're
playing
not going to the Olympics.
out of his mind, bro. He's playing
Who's
so well.
who said that, by the way, Kev? Was you say Kerr?
Yeah, Steve Kerr. I think I remember seeing this. Like it's like the starting lineup, like Curry, Braun, and Embiid locks. Like they're starting.
How much access has Steve Kerr had with like a star big man like that? Like AD and Joel Embiid go to a team and they're the number one guy, but they're a center. How much experience does Steve Kerr have being around that kind of guy? I'm just kind of like bullshitting, or I'm just kind of like messing around. Obviously, I know that Kerr is a great coach, but I guess I just don't understand what, like you guys said. I mean, maybe spacing, maybe some other things, but Joel Embiid just doesn't seem like the best option. And I do agree with you. I think there are other options that could fit better than Devin Booker on that starting lineup.
I want your guys' opinion on something that I've been thinking about lately, just while we're on the topic. Derek White, right? Everyone's like, Jaylen Brown should be on here instead of Derek White. Well, we've seen Derek White's minutes increase as Team USA has gone on. And he's been put in positions that personally, I don't think Jaylen Brown would be put in. I think he fits. I think he's proving that, like, why he fits better than Jaylen Brown on that team. Because we saw when they were down against South Sudan, they went and started with Drew Holiday and Derek White in that second unit, or like those backups were coming in, you know? I don't think Jaylen Brown starts that second half against South Sudan when they're down. I said it before that I think Derek White should be on the team instead of Jaylen Brown. I think I was the only one that said that. I could be wrong on that. But I think he's proved it at this point in time, personally. And I just want to know what you guys think about that now that we've seen Derek White's minutes get extended.
So I think personally, to me, I've said it before. I do think that Jaylen Brown is useful, and this is me more so speaking about like regular season and his, playing on the Celtics. But I do think that Jaylen Brown comes up big for them in big moments at least for the Celtics, and he is good in crunch time, and he is a reliable player that you can go to. The only thing that like questions it is the fact that he's always got someone else in front of him that if misses the shot has all of the heat, right? Tatum misses the first shot, okay, everyone's mad at Tatum. Jaylen Brown gets the second shot and makes it, everyone's in love with him. So we haven't really seen him take on kind of the pressure that you could say, Miles, that Derek White has now. But I just don't think we really know what would happen. Like, put Jaylen Brown in that situation. I don't know how he would perform. But I will say that going off of how he plays with the Celtics, I do think that he would fit into that role just as well as Derek White. But at the end of the day, that's not what happened. White is in that spot, and kudos to him for playing well.
gonna be honest, bro. I know you're a Celtics fan and you like Derek White, and I think Derek White's good too. But I'm just so tired of hearing Derek White being like so good and stuff. Like what everybody talking about it. It's like, yeah, he's good, but like relax on the glazing, because like I don't know, bro. I'd rather have Jalen Brown on the team. I get Derek White might be a better fit in certain situations and stuff, but I don't know. I'd rather have Jalen Brown. I'm gonna be honest.
Can I ask like why?
Because Kawhi Leonard was already there, and if you're gonna sub him out for Derek White, I feel like it's a little bit disrespectful. Jalen Brown, he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Finals MVP. He's just a little bit overlooked, and he's as just as good defensively. Offensively, I think he's better. So
And defensively, I don't think he's better than Derek White. Also, I do
I
believe
don't
that
think
he's
so
a
either.
better. Also, I don't believe that he's a better distributor than Derek White is. So I feel like what Team USA did, first off, I feel like the lineups were predetermined before Jalen Brown won those awards. He played great in the playoffs, don't get me wrong. But also filling that spot for Kawhi, I don't think they were looking for another star player rather than looking a player to fill a role. And I know we talked about this on the last podcast that we had too, that maybe they realized that they didn't want someone that was so ball dominant the way that Kawhi and Jalen Brown can be. They don't need another scorer. So that's why I felt like they kind of put Derek White in that role to flush out Kawhi. I don't think it definitely wasn't a matter of who's better, because obviously Jalen Brown's better than Derek White. But as far as filling a role for that team already with LeBron, Curry, KD, and Embiid, I feel like putting Derek White in that situation, I may have done the same exact thing.
I was gonna say that I had a theory before that like while Kawhi was on the team, they identified an issue they had, and that might have been like, hey, this backup unit is too like we already have so many stars. We have Ant Edwards, we have Anthony Davis. Like we need someone who could get these guys the ball. Like it's I don't think it's necessarily of, well, Kawhi's here, you already have a star, like why not replace him with a star? I think that they identified an issue and used Kawhi leaving as an opportunity to fix it. And that's why I think Derek White was brought in. But I mean, I respect all your opinions. I just wanted to know like if you guys finally felt like he fit. Because personally, the things he's doing I don't think Jalen Brown like he could do, but not to the extent Derek White can.
So
no,
out of
for sure he fits.
curiosity, do you think, to your point, do you think that the team sat down and was looking for a mold of a player that fixed the issue and they kind of just stumbled upon Derek White? Or do you think like Derek White was kind of the piece to the puzzle that they felt they needed? Because I feel like one seems more likely than the other, but
I would definitely say they did not stumble upon Derek White. I think they knew that I mean it could be as simple. Obviously, I'm not in that locker room. I'm not on that staff, but it could be as simple as, hey, Kawhi like simply just doesn't fit. So if we go get Jalen Brown, like we're just plugging in another guy that doesn't fit. And this is all speculation. I don't know if this was actually an issue, but I think they just used the opportunity to fix it. They're like, hey, Derek White plays defense, isn't score first, can distribute and pass the ball better than Jalen Brown can. Like, let's go get the playmaker and defensive anchor, you know? The guy's second team all defense. Like, you might as well.
yeah, I see your point.
But I mean, yeah, it's all opinion based. Like that's all speculation stuff. So I was just wondering what you guys thought of that.
No, I mean he's playing good. I mean I think you can't go wrong with either or. It's just like drama that's been going on with him and Jalen Brown and Nike.
All I'm saying
Oh,
is that championship game better not be close. I mean, it should
oh,
be obvious that Team USA is going to be in that championship game, but I don't think I don't if they're keeping it close and they're like if they somehow lose,
if
I'll leave
if
it at that.
USA doesn't go undefeated but still get gold, is it a bust, you think?
No.
No, because the goal is to get the gold medal. It's not to go undefeated.
This is a statement run, though. This is a
Yeah.
run this team has been assembled as a statement to reclaim basketball dominance. So I do think the goal matters most, but I also am in the boat that if they lose a game, it's still a bad look, even if they get the gold.
I do agree the gold matters the most, but I am with Miles on this one. Like, it is a statement. We've proven time and time again that we have the best athletes and that we can win gold. That's not what this is about. This is about making a statement. And yeah, I think that having an undefeated um, run to that is necessary.
Right. I mean, then losing a game, it definitely would raise an eyebrow. But as far as it being a bust, maybe a little bit of a stretch. I mean, they still got the gold. When a team says like, "Oh, but we beat them," it's like, "Oh yeah, I mean, we got the gold." So like, shut up.
I think that in 4 years, it's going to start to get like a little bit worrisome because are they only doing this because LeBron hopped on this train and wanted everybody to come on? Because what are we going to see this coming in the next years? Do we think that's just going to still be this like level of like anticipation to play for Team USA, or after LeBron goes, it's going to go away?
I would hope that it stays.
I think this is a special case. I do think LeBron plays a role, but I think this is an extremely special case considering how we got dominated in FIBA last year. I think that performance is the biggest factor in like why this team came together. The performance last FIBA Cup was abysmal. Like it could not have gone worse for us, I don't think. So I won't say disgraceful, that's a little much, but it was just so disappointing to see us send out like Walker Kessler, Josh Hart, and Austin Reeves to like represent our country. Like, bro, those are like third stringer. Like Walker Kessler, bro, that's like a fifth stringer for a Team USA lineup. That's just crazy. Like that's unacceptable, I think.
I
Team select guy.
I would imagine that after, the Bird, Johnson, and Jordan, like USA team, and then also with the Kobe and LeBron on the same USA team, that it kind of has the same effect on the younger guys coming into the league. Like, I'm sure guys came up and they saw those pictures of the USA team being stacked with Jordan, with Kobe, and they probably definitely said to themselves, I want to play for Team USA. I would hope so. So I guess I'm kind of changing my opinion on this, or not opinion. I didn't have one. But to answer your question, Victor, I kind of think that having even just the team photo with Kawhi Leonard and LeBron James and AD and basically our whole group going over for Team USA, I feel like this will motivate the next generation to want to continue to play for Team USA.
All right, moving on from our Team USA talk, we're gonna move in to our first interactive segment of the night. Feel free to play at home. This is NBA players in song lyrics. And I'm going to give you a lyric, and you're going to have to try to fill in the NBA player that fits in that lyric. Of course, there's hints for each round. We're going to go 1 through 5. This is a group effort. So you guys each can take a guess. If not, I'll tell you. We can move on. We're going to start with some obvious ones, get into like a pretty hard one. I have faith in you guys to get it. Not sure if you will. Feel free to play at home. See if you can get these. Let us know in the comments if you get any of them. And we're going to start right here. All right. Most of these, make sure you listen to the context. I could always repeat the lyric. I could give hints. And then most of the later rounds, the player rhymes with the line before it. So I'm giving you the line before it and the line that the player's in. So here we go. Round 1. NBA finished that lyric. The line is, he be craving for a body Mac 10 stainless. You a big baby ass brother.
Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis.
Yep.
Good job, Kevin. The answer is Glenn Davis. He be craving for a body Mac 10 stainless. You a big baby ass brother. Glenn Davis. That is from Beloved by Conway the Machine. Good job, Kevin. We're off to a great start. I'm glad we got one. We got one, so it's a success. All right.
Simple.
Moving into some harder lyrics. Make sure you guys are listening to the lyrics. Here's our second lyric. Stove had coke dreams, sleep in the manger. Whip blank. I had O's in the blazer.
So it's probably a trailblazer.
No. Wait, can you repeat the middle of the line again? Or like just go
Yes.
through it again?
So a blazer is a car. That's why he says whip. Stove had Coke dreams. Sleep in the manger. Whip blank. I had O's in the blazer.
I feel like it's an NBA player that rhymes with Manger, but I can't remember who it is.
Think about it. I had O's in the blazer.
Whip Dame.
Whip Damian Lillard. I had O's in the blazer because he
What
wore
I-
the 0 on his jersey.
I
Yeah,
O's
told
in the
you-
blazer.
That one was kind
I
of
was
damn.
I thought that one. I thought Dame was gonna be like too obvious of a guess.
Same.
No, you were
Yeah.
perfect. It's the first few rounds. You were perfect.
Well,
No,
Victor
I-
said a
Doubt yourself.
trailblazer,
Yeah,
and
I
like
said
I
a
was like,
trailblazer and you
yeah,
shut
and
it
you were
down.
like, it's a
So I was like,
car.
damn.
I didn't shut it down. What you mean? I said
No,
a
no,
blazer's a
Dan-
car. It's a double entendre. Oh,
no.
you're not talking
Daniel
about me.
shut
Well,
it
you-
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
were on
shut
the
it
right
down.
track. Victor, I thought you were gonna get it, honestly, when
Yeah,
you
and
said
then
trailblazer. That comes from Babylon Buys by West Side Gun. We've discussed this one before on the podcast, but I put it on here just because it's such a great line. I need to say it again. Here we go. Your third lyric. I need to see the money pile over. My shooter's coming off the bench like blank.
Kyle Korver.
Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
Boom. Hey, that's 3 for 3, bro. I
Kyle
need to
Korver.
see the money pile over. My shooter's coming off the bench like Kyle Korver. That's from John Woo Flick by Conway the Machine. I had a couple hints for that one, but you got that one. This is where it gets hard, though. We got 2 more on the list. We're 3 for 3. Your fourth lyric. This one's an old player. That's your hint to start. He liked to win, but be with losers. You want to play with Tim Duncan or blank?
Carlos Boozer.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
go.
go. Let's go. Bro, you guys are on it, man.
Yeah,
That's
this is
4 for 4. Are these too easy?
fire.
I had some hard ones, bro, but I was like, I don't know
know.
if they can get these, bro.
It just flows like the
Yeah.
rhymes. Like I don't know.
That's right. That I wanted to give the first lyric for context as always. So number 4, he liked to win but be with losers. You want to play with Tim Duncan or Carlos Boozer. That's from Dangerous Derringer by Sauce Walker. Now, this last one, bro, this is a deep cut. This is a deep cut. I think even like I don't think casuals would know who this player is. But this is you're gonna have to think about it. This is an old player. Your hint is it's from early 2000s. Here's the lyric. Number 5. To go 5 for 5. 100 racks in my sweatpants. Did my scoring in Portland. I'm blank with the headband.
Say it again.
100 racks in my sweatpants. Did my scoring in Portland. I'm blank with the headband. Early 2000s player, I believe. I will fact check just to make sure.
And he probably played on the Trailblazers. 'Cause he said Portland. But I don't know.
Are you double checking his era?
I am, but I was right. It's early 2000s. I can give a hint.
Go ahead and give me a hint.
All right. So, your first hint, his initials are BW. 100 racks in my sweatpants. Did my scoring in Portland. I'm blank with the headband. BW are the initials. It's an interesting player.
Wallace?
It's not Ben Wallace. He has a very unorthodox first name.
That starts with a B.
I can give you the last name. That might help.
The last name might help.
The last name might help.
Is it Buck Williams?
No, no, not a bad guess though.
You know, that was a great guess.
His last name is Wells. 100 racks in my sweatpants. Did my scoring in Portland. I'm with the headband. Portland player, last name Wells. First name, first letter is B.
Bill, Bob, Boomer.
I think I might have to give you this one. Any final guesses?
Yeah, I think I'm a casual.
This one's a deep cut. It's an interesting one. When I say it, you'll probably be like, oh, okay. Like,
I think I might know it.
I had a feeling we might go 4 for 4, so I had to make sure we missed one.
I
In
feel like
all
I
honesty.
might. I feel like I might know it.
I don't know.
Any
I honestly
guesses?
What's your guess, Daniel? If you might know it,
Well, I want to see if anyone else has a guess.
go ahead. Let it fly. Can you bring us home?
No, I can't. I can't.
I was gonna say, Daniel, you might not know this.
I was gonna
player.
say I looked it up as soon as like Kevin said he couldn't get it, so I was gonna say it, but
Yeah, I don't know. You might have to. Is his name D?
No. All
Name
right,
just
I'll go
letter
ahead.
D?
I'll give you the answer.
you
So
have
we're
these kind of trees in your in your old apartment.
Bonsai,
Close.
birch,
Well, no, you just pronounce it differently.
Bonzi,
Ding 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 ding.
100
Bonze.
racks in my sweatpants. Did my scoring in Portland. I'm Bonzi Wells with the headband. Are you guys familiar with Bonzi Wells?
I
I
know
was not
Bonzi
familiar
Colson
with.
from Notre Dame.
Damn, you guys don't know who
Yes.
Bonzi Wells is for real? Damn, I
I
might
have
have.
to look him up.
Why don't you tell me where he played college ball? Oof.
Good question, man. I have no idea.
100 racks in my sweatpants.
You guys got 4 out of 5. I think that for the first time doing this, you guys did great. You
I
guys
think
did
we
great.
cooked.
I think you guys cooked. I
And
really
never
do.
to be honest with you, I've never heard any of those lyrics too.
That Boozer one's gonna make a good reel.
All of these came from my actual playlist too, which is interesting. And they're all from Griselda. All they do is like I had probably, I would say during my gym session, I probably tracked down 17 of them and I picked 5,
I
all
was gonna
from
say,
my playlist.
I knew this wasn't hard for you to find because I know you fuck with Conway the Sheen and West Side Gun a lot.
Yeah, dude, all they do is rap about NBA
Basketball
players.
players.
So I got 9 NBA players in 2 categories, and I'm gonna give Miles, Daniel, and Kevin the chance to cut 5 of them, keep 4. And for the first category, they're gonna work as a team with both categories. And for the first category, it's gonna be role players. So this is keep 4, cut 5, NBA role players. So we got Derek White, Bobby Portis, Mike Conley, PJ Washington, Herb Jones, Andrew Nemhard, Dante DiVincenzo, Lou Dort, and Alex Caruso.
So we're keeping D White.
We're keeping D White for sure. No
Defense-
questions asked.
Defensive first team played a pivotal role in winning a championship this year. I think you keep D White. Next, I don't know if you're going to jump on this train with me. I love this player, one of those random players I really like. I got to say we keep Herb Jones.
Easily. No debate. That was the
Go.
second one on my list as well.
Easy. Daniel, you pick. Let's hear you. Meanwhile, me and Miles are on the same wave. Let's see what you got for us.
Caruso or DiVincenzo was the first names that came to mind.
I'm riding the Caruso wave.
I'm cool with Caruso. DiVincenzo
Bet.
could piss off.
Hey, we out here, man. We 3 for 3. I like that.
Caruso is definitely my third pick. I just didn't want to sit here and
So-
I don't want to say sweep the list, but
Who are you guys cutting for sure? Like, let's get that right now.
we're cutting DiVincenzo and Lou Dort for sure. Yeah.
I don't want to cut Conley.
Okay,
Too
we'll
old.
cut DiVincenzo and Conley for sure.
I want to cut Lou Dort before DiVincenzo.
Okay, so Dort and Conley. So
I
that
thought he was
leaves
about to
us
say
with
Dort and DiVincenzo.
all right. So Dort and DiVincenzo. All right. So left, we need one more player to keep between Bobby Portis, Andrew Nemhard, and DiVincenzo.
Cut Portis for sure.
Portis got a ring.
True. He doesn't he have a
I
6 man
think-
of the year too? Did he win that?
I'm cutting DiVincenzo before I cut Portis.
Okay. I guess. Okay, wait. Who do we
Nemhard
have?
wouldn't be in a bad addition.
We have White, Jones, and Caruso. Okay, so we have 2 guards. So yeah, I guess cut DiVincenzo for the simple fact we have 2 guards already.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe just with who we've kept, Portis is the move. Is Portis the move? Let me.
Are we basing it off that or just basing it off just the skill of the player?
I'm kind of thinking like we have 4 bench spots for role players. Who do we like keep? So we have 2 guards, a wing, and maybe like a 4, like Portis is kind of my thought process.
If
Need
we
that guy
weren't
who
if we weren't thinking that way, would you consider Nemhard over Portis?
I mean, I would consider him. Nemhard did just re-up with the Pacers for like a steal of a contract. I don't know how much like we're like going to go in depth. For that reason alone, I would probably keep Nemhard. Um,
He was playing really well at the end of the season.
I like Nemhard, but
Hey, we forgot PJ Washington.
I was looking at that. I was just looking at that too. Um,
So yeah,
personally, I think it's between Washington and Portis, just with doing it off positions. I don't really, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big fan of Nemhard. I don't know if I like Nemhard with the rest of these guys. Obviously, he's a great role player, but like I think because we already have Derek White and Caruso, I'd rather have those two
yeah,
over Nemhard.
for sure. So I think for the sake of what we got, we can cut Nemhard and then
Ooh,
discuss it between
we might get flamed. We might get flamed in the comments on this reel.
and
I think I like
cut it
what you're
between
saying.
Portis and Washington. I don't think we're gonna get flamed at all. I feel like we're making the best decisions.
Yeah,
We'll
I
put
think
thought into
Jones
this.
and White are locks, and obviously we all like Caruso for the
Yeah,
defense. That's a guy like that could help any team.
I'm
facts.
thinking I agree with Miles, and we should go Bobby Portis. Fill out the rest of that last spot with some height.
He is like a veteran too. Like he's won more than Washington,
Yeah.
plays with more tenacity than Washington. See, I feel like PJ Washington like wants to be like Portis, but doesn't actually stand on business like Portis does.
I'm cool with going with Portis. I'm a fan of him. Big
Yeah,
fan.
I think
That was
you've I wanted to cut him at first, but I've had a change of heart. I think we go Portis.
All right. So we got our list then. We got our 4 kept
All right.
and 5 cut.
So you guys decided to keep Derek White, Bobby Portis, Herb Jones, and Caruso.
Yes,
Yo.
sir.
Sir. Okay. So now here is keep 4, cut 5, under 25 NBA players. So we got Tyrese Halliburton, Alperen Sengun, Ja Morant, Victor Wembanyama, Tyrese Maxey, Paulo Banchero, Zion Williamson, Cade Cunningham, and Scotty Barnes.
Keeping Wemby.
Yeah, keeping Wemby for sure. That's the one
Keeping
that's
Wemby
for
for
sure
the
getting
sake of
kept.
for the sake of
let's
just
let's just get rid of
potential.
Scotty right now.
Not yet.
No,
I
not
mean,
yet, not yet.
I feel like Scotty is the biggest wild card on this list because
I
like
feel like we got to pair up John and Wembanyama. We just got to. Right?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna say cut Halliburton off the top. I
Faster
don't
than
know how
Scotty
to.
Barnes?
I don't know. I'd cut Cade before I cut Halliburton.
Okay, yeah, the shooting compared to these other guys is an issue.
Am I missing something? Are you guys like planning on keeping Scotty Barnes?
No, man, we're just not cutting him first.
Yeah,
Scotty
we're
Barnes
not.
had a great year this year. Relax your tits.
He's
All
an
right,
all-star.
fine.
John Morant wasn't an all-star. It's because he was hurt. Uh, damn, bro, this one is so much harder.
So I think we can I don't want to say safely, but I feel like if we're cutting someone first, it should be Cade.
We can do that. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Cade. I'm gonna be completely honest.
I'm cool with that. I think he'll be a Hall of Famer, but we can cut him. I feel like most of these guys will. Sengun. How do we feel about
I'd hold on
Sengun?
to Sengun because
Hold
if we're
on.
gonna do the same thing, yeah, if we're gonna do the same thing like we did with Portis, might need to hold on to Sengun. I feel like he should be one
We
of the
do
last
have
ones to go.
Wemby though. We have Wemby saved.
Yeah, you're right. And I did even just think that as I was like looking. Yeah.
So what I think we should do right now is go guard and then wing and then worry about that fourth spot.
Okay.
All right.
So who
So
do we
between the
want
guards,
between Ja,
Hallie,
Maxey? Oh man.
And Paulo? I mean, Paulo's not really.
he's
I
Guard
mean,
not a
he's
guard.
good, but
So we have Hallie, Ja, and Maxi. Shoot.
I feel like it's really between just Ja and Maxi. That's just me though, unless you guys think Hallie is better.
I think Maxi has the most potential that we haven't seen yet. Okay, let's think about it this way. Which one works best in a role? Oh no, this isn't role players anymore. This is just best. Okay.
But I like
Never
your
mind.
thinking because you would think that they'd be feeding, like the point position probably isn't going to be as active as Victor is because Wembanyama's on the team.
I'm trying to stick with my gut and not look up stats about like watching games. Who do I think is
When
the
Maxi's the
best?
second option on his team and plays very well. Just won MIP. Ja, we haven't seen play much recently.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that I'm forgetting about how good Ja Moran is. And if I'm letting my judgment get clouded by the fact that I think he's kind of a clown a little bit.
Well,
Am
my
I letting
opinion's
that judge my how well I think?
my
'Cause
opinion's kind of changing now.
my problem with Halliburton is call me crazy, call me a hater, but I don't think he'll sustain the amount of success he's had this season. I think next season he'll drop a little bit, come back down to earth, and also defensively, I don't want my future being a cone on defense, and that Halliburton is a cone on defense. But he's,
Inconsistent shooting as well.
yeah. I say it's between Ja and Maxey. And
I agree.
I concur.
I I kind of am switching my opinion maybe from Ja just because of Maxi playing with Embiid. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about that like lob threat, being comfortable playing with a high volume center. But Wemby plays so differently. Wemby spaces out so much more.
Ja's averaging 8 assists. I did not know he was distributing like that. You know what?
How
I
many
think
TOs?
Maxey's a better shooter. Oh man. I think I'm leaning. I think I'm leaning. I was gonna say Ja right there, but then I remembered Ja is so much more ball dominant than Maxey is. So because of that reason, I'm gonna go Maxey.
You know, I think for the same reason and the sake of shooting and a little bit of recency bias, I might have to go with Maxi as well.
I said my reasons already. I'm going Tyrese Maxey.
Okay. So we got Maxey and Wemby. Who do we want on the wing between Paolo, Zion, and Scotty Barnes, or potentially two of them?
So out of all of them, Paolo's probably the best shooter. Zion doesn't play much. Scotty Barnes is probably the best defender.
Do we just say like the ultimate FU and just do Paolo and Scotty Barnes both?
I mean, it's not terrible because of what you said earlier with Wemby.
I just think Sengun is too one-dimensional right now.
Like if we had a fifth spot, we'd put him there, obviously, but because we don't, like
He just doesn't take threes. It's
yeah.
like, I don't think he's like an excellent defender either. He's just like all potential. He's also on a bad team. I guess Scotty Barnes is too, but well, Scotty Barnes is on a worse team.
Yeah.
But I vote Paulo for sure.
Yeah, I
Because
think so too. He has a
Paulo,
lot of potential.
yeah, Paulo's like already gonna be that guy, like in the NBA.
Yeah.
I vote Paulo and Scotty Barnes. I think having both of them in a lineup would be deadly.
I'm gonna
Honestly.
go. I'm gonna go Paulo, and I'm gonna go Zion. I'm gonna not let the recency bias affect me, and I'm gonna say that Zion's gonna grab all the rebounds with Wemby, and it's gonna be locked down in the paint.
I don't know. Scotty was dropping triple doubles this year. He had a few under his belt.
I just,
And
yeah,
he's a better defender and is more available than Zion is.
like I think it's just concerning how little Zion has played, and he's on this under 25 list. You know,
Yeah. Scotty really improved his 3-point shot too this year.
We can go Scotty. I like Scotty.
I think
I
Scotty
don't,
might have to be the move.
I don't know if we are building a lineup, but if we have Maxi and then two wings and Paulo and Scotty Barnes, like who can guard any position, play anywhere on the court, and then Wemby as a 5. The two wings aren't going to clog. I feel like Zion might clog, take away from Wemby's potential. But
You-
I think it's cut. I think we're good.
Give us
I think
Team USA 7 game series.
I think we're good with Wemby, Maxi, Paulo, and Barnes.
So you guys' final list is you guys are going to keep Wemby, Tyrese Maxey, Paulo Banchero, and Scotty Barnes.
I'll
good.
run it.
That is going to be an end of Good Morning Let's Basketball. We want to thank you guys for watching and thank you guys again for 1,000 subscribers. Make sure to stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff planned for you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Recording. Stop.
Boom, boom.